All right, so I'm going to hit a couple little various points here. First of all, before coming on to post, there's a few things you should do to prep. One of them, which is know the weather, know what you're walking into, know what your night or day is going to be like, if it's going to be extremely hot, if there's a chance of bad weather. You need to know these things. You need to be prepared for that. What I mean by that is have the appropriate gear, have the appropriate clothing, and have backup clothing. That's going to go way far and beyond the backup clothing. Couple different reasons. One, you're on a long post, you're extremely sweaty, stinky person. It happens. People are stinky sometimes. They can't help it. It's not because of their hygiene. Whatever. Let's not dive into that. Excuse me. Still getting over this thing. Change of clothes. It is going to be extremely hot, sweaty day. You get a super long shift. Maybe you're ending it around towards the nighttime. Think about this. You're going to be sweating all day. More than likely, somebody's going to come in after you to relieve you of your post or relieve you of duty. And you've been sitting in that chair sweating, sweating bullets every time you come back in and you sit down. If that's the case, you're going to want to have a change of clothes. If you get to a point where you're way too sweaty, you're cooling down, when you start to smell yourself, you're going to want to change. Not just for, your own personal hygiene, but for the the whole customer aspect of it. People shouldn't be smelling you. If it happens, it happens. It's outside, it's hot, humid, you're walking around all day, that's expected. But if you can avoid it, avoid it. You want to appear professional and clean. That's very important, especially anybody wearing a uniform. It's extremely important. Cleanliness, professionalism kind of goes hand in hand. And then being courteous to the other guy. You don't want to be late for your post. That's just screwing over that guy. Make sure you can be on post on time. Make sure like I said, along with the weather patterns, make sure you know what traffic is like. Try to make sure you take measures. You're going to be there on time. I know the whole 15 minutes early thing, you don't get paid for it. Now, you are kind of being selfish. Think about the other person. You want to make sure that you're there. You want to get a little bit of time. You want to look around, see what's going on. And you want to be mentally, physically prepared for your job, for duty. And you want to make sure that you're not screwing over the next guy. Again, say maybe you're the only guard. You're working there from, all day to all night. Now, say that's half the shift in extremely hot weather, another half of the shift in nighttime cool breeze, where I'm wearing a hoodie in Florida right now, just because it's more comfortable. That wind is getting me a little chilly. So I got to back up. Always have something with me to regulate my temperature, to make me warmer, to make me clean, comfortable. I've always got one or two sets of clothing in my vehicle at all times. One of which is it's very weird, but I'm actually now transitioning to wearing shorts instead of cargo pants. A lot of reasons for that. First, it's way more comfortable. It's going to reduce the amount of sweat. A lot of that sweat drips down into your socks. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but your foot is just marinating in your bodily juices that are sweating down there. Over time, it's going to make your shoes really, really stinky. If you're not all into buying new pairs of shoes every 3 months or less time than that, you want to take care of your shoes and your body especially. So I'm trying to minimize the amount of buildup of sweat into my socks, where I'm going to be walking in them all day. I'm going to be standing in them all day. Even though, at the end of the day, you take your socks off, they're stinky, you just throw them in the wash, and away it goes. Your shoes are going to remain stinky, still going to have that fungus and bacteria in there. Be aware of these things because they're very easily missed. Obviously, you start smelling stuff is probably a good indication. Bacteria, fungus. Make sure you store your clothes, like if you're going to be having it in your vehicle, make sure it's a dry damp spot. I'm sorry, dry damp spot. a dry spot that's not going to get dirty. It's not going to collect moisture, mildew while it's sitting in there. Just because you got it doesn't mean you're always going to use it. But have it there just in case. You want to make sure, if you are, again, saying instead of heat, you're going to replace that with rain. Okay, so if you're with a company that forces you to go out and patrol regardless of the rain, if it's raining or not, you're gonna want to make sure you have the appropriate gear. I got a pretty neat windbreaker from this company. Keeps water completely out. However, that is a top. You got to think about your bottom too, because I'm always thinking about my bottom. Are you? So you got to understand, rain's gonna hit you from all different directions. You're gonna get your butt soaked down to your undies. Like, that happens. So now your butt's wet, your crotch is wet, your pants are wet, and now your socks and shoes are filling up with water. Okay, now you gotta stay that way all day because you don't have a backup pair of clothing. You can't go home, you can't leave your post. And I don't know if anybody's had this raisin effect happen, but your socks get wet one time during the day, you keep them on, especially in Florida, it is going to remain moist and wet all day long. You're going to get overly cold. It's going to mess with your body's ability to regulate temperature, which is super important for a healthy, working, functioning body. It's just going to be uncomfortable in general. You're going to have a terrible time. It's not going to be fun. Rechargeable flashlight. So, oh shit, I blinded myself. You want to keep these things in the back of your head before you're going on post. I know a lot of people, like, they wake up and they're like, oh fuck, you get ready for work. And you just go to work. You don't think about anything else, and then you get to work and then you see thunderclouds and you're like, oh shit, this is gonna suck. It's gonna be a shitty night. So keep those things in mind. One big one, it's overlooked a lot in the military, civilian world, everywhere. Heat stroke, heat exhaustion. Don't put yourself in a position where you start to have side effects of heat stroke or heat exhaustion. Once you get to that point, it's too late, almost, to a degree. You're not going to recover from that really quickly, especially if you're like on post. Once you start getting those effects, it's going to start, could get worse. You could be putting yourself in danger. That goes back to the clothing thing. Make sure that you are prepared if you have a lighter type of material for your security shirt. Like if you have a polo versus a actual uniform, get with your supervisor, be like, hey, it's like 109 degrees outside, can I wear my polo instead of the uniform? You know, it's probably an acceptable thing to ask given the circumstances. And finally, I think I briefly mentioned this before, but again, use your imagination, and you get a break, you're allowed to go out and get some food, or you have food delivered, whatever it may be. So you get some food, maybe halfway through your shift. So say on a 12-hour shift, you got 6 hours in, and you get a hot dog. I don't know, hot dog, ketchup, mustard. You get that shit dripping all down your shirt. Now you're gonna be dealing with customers and people, and you got a big old ketchup stain down your shirt. It's very hard to respect officers as it is, security officers as it is. Don't give them additional reasons to question or judge you in your professionalism. Be great to have an extra pair of an extra shirt just in case. You could throw that sucker on, and you can be prepared. Another example, and I've seen this happen, not to me, but you get a bird shit on your shirt and you got to walk around with that all day. That's not a fun day. So just make sure you got backups, know the weather, Kind of plan out your day. Make sure you get the post on time. Don't be stinky.